Alright, so here we are, Joyous, Oblivion, and Big Willie here are going to play. So we've got the US here that's going to roll forward in the hold the line encounter. So what do you got there, Jo?
Starting off a little recce platoon. That's a stand-in half track. It's not a steward. A little recce platoon. I got an armored rifle platoon. Sherman, 4 Sherman M4s, a pair of tank destroyers, command HQ of 2 Sherman M4s. Again, not the right models, but good enough. And that's the bits and bobs that go with the tank destroyers, and then a light tank Steward M5 platoon on the flank.
And they're going to be racing across. So there's the halfway point. They're going against the Canadians. So there's the first objective being held by a platoon of infantry, and the second objective being held by the artillery battery. And then I have 2 platoons in ambush with anti-tank 6-pounders and heavy machine guns, and then in reserve 2 other infantry platoons, Sherman platoon and a recce platoon. So we'll be back at the end of turn 1. Alright, so here we are at the bottom of turn 1. Unsuccessful for a reserve roll. The Americans rolled across with their recce taking a position behind the building here, and the Shermans opened up, killing the observer that was sitting on the hill. In the Canadian turn, the battery of guns all opened up together, firing a stonk back here, hitting a bunch of tanks, and just bailing out too. So we'll be back at the end of turn 2. Alright, so we've just finished turn 2 here. The Stuarts rolled across here, opening up on the platoon, and were ineffective. The Shermans advanced down the road, and again, the dug-in Canadians were very effective, and recce rolled up here under the hill. In the Canadian turn, much more effective shooting. The ambushing 6-pounders opened up and bailed 2 of the Shermans and destroyed the platoon tank. So then Jo had to make the decision here of whether or not his IC would join the platoon or not after they failed their initial motivation check. The danger of this is he gets to reroll that dice, but if he didn't get the 4 or better, then the entire platoon, including the company IC, would leave, which would mean that he would automatically fail any company morale tests that he was forced to make in the future. And with a 4, he was successful in avoiding having the platoon and his IC run off the table. In addition, the Royal Canadian Artillery fired a stonk again down here on the Stuarts, bailing out 2 of them, and the Piat from the infantry bailed out the 3rd. So we'll catch you at the bottom of at the end of turn 3. So here we are at the bottom of turn 3, just finished. So some significant action this turn. So the Stuarts here rolled across and assaulted the infantry that were dug in. They were successful in killing 3 stands of infantry. The platoon passed its motivation check and counter-assaulted, and when it counter-assaulted, it caused 4 hits, but didn't do anything, and they failed their subsequent motivation test and broke off and rolled back here. So that was pretty huge, and then the infantry moved back into their foxholes. The Shermans and the M60s and the half-tracks all attempted to pin the anti-tank guns and were unsuccessful. The anti-tank guns returned fire, in fact blowing up 2 more Shermans, and then they failed their motivation test and have left the field of battle. So at this point we're at the bottom of turn 3, just starting turn 4, and the Americans have lost a single platoon, and the British have basically 1 platoon that's just a little above half strength. So we'll be back at the end of turn 4.
There you go.
So we just finished turn 4 here. So again, the Stuarts rolled forward and attacked the Canadians. The Canadians suffered no casualties or single casualty? Single casualty. They passed their motivation check. They counter-assaulted, hit 3 times, did not damage any of the Stuarts, but the Stuarts failed their motivation check and rolled back again. This time they actually rolled back to right where the artillery had zeroed in, and when the artillery mic targeted the stonk. It was very successful, destroying 2 tanks and bailing out another one. So that was really good, and they passed their motivation test, so that they're still in the fight. Up here, the recce platoon was engaged by the ambushed heavy machine guns that popped out, and they destroyed both jeeps, and one of the teams failed its test, and then the anti-tank gun continued to fire, bailing out the half-track because of the lack of ability to roll a firepower test. In terms of reserves, this was the first time that the Canadians got reserves in. So you have the Sherman platoon rolled in along with an infantry platoon, and they haven't been able to do anything yet. But now they can race forward to the objective to help relieve the siege, if you will. So we'll be back at the end of turn 5. So here we are at the bottom of 6, and we're going to call it. So what happened in this turn? Well, the M60s rolled forward and engaged the machine guns to no effect. We had the company 2IC here appoint a new platoon commander for the Stuarts.
Sorry, the quick correction, it was the one IC
did it, sorry, yeah. And then the company 2IC rolled over here on the hill, and he opened up on the recce team that was over here that was going to try and smoke his recce, destroying 2 of them because they moved at the double, and then the other guy buggered off here into the center, so that there was some security, so I wouldn't lose another platoon. However, by exposing himself, the Shermans over here opened up on the other Sherman and destroyed the company 2IC. In addition, the infantry platoons advanced up onto the objective, with the lead one digging in successfully and the other one moving into the fields. And then we had a devastating volley here from the artillery, which destroyed another 3 stands. However, this platoon passed its motivation check in order to stay in. So we're going to call it now. So, any thoughts?
Not right now. I'll have to digest this loss.
Fair enough. Alright, well, we'll be back.